welcome to week 6. This is Dr. Almodovar again. I just want to briefly go over what you're going to be doing this week. So this is a major week in our course. Week 6 gets to the 3 major religions and then a little bit on Zoroastrianism, which some say is what Christianity spun off of, but that's really hard to do when the history isn't even there. So anyway, you're going to be looking at this week at Islam, Judaism, and Christianity. You're going to be answering some very pertinent questions in light of what is going on globally. This will be a heavy week. I encourage strong debate, strong discussion, but do not get into personal attacks. The beliefs of others are core to who they are and to how they live. So please make sure that you are respectful this week. I say it more so this week because many in our course are one of the 3 major religions in the world. So please remember to respect the person. You will be looking at these religions, and I'm going to be asking some very hopefully thoughtful questions that are that will encourage you to think deeply about their beliefs. One of the key things that Negosian misses is the well, actually there's 2, but first is the key place of the resurrection story for Christians, and the vastly different view of that both in Judaism and in Islam. Negosian misses that as the core belief of Christians. The Apostle Paul writes that unless Jesus is risen from the dead, and he appeals to the Corinthians to go and ask the 500 plus eyewitnesses who are still alive some 37 years after the event to validate if what he says is true. But he says if it is not true, then we are fools who believe this, and that we have no hope, and that you should just go on living the way you live because it doesn't matter. So Negosian misses that point, and I want to emphasize that point because in each of the major religions there is a key component that, if missing, completely tears down the belief system. For Islam, if you do not believe that Muhammad actually had these visions that he then wrote into the Quran and the Hadith and the other papers, then you would have to deny that his beliefs are true. On the other hand, if he did have these visions, then you must recognize certain things about modern Islam that is true to the founder of the religion and the 2 parties who separated into Sunni and Shia after his death. You would also have to recognize that not all the Quran is actually around. One of Muhammad's favorite wives had a favorite pet goat, and after Muhammad had finished writing some of his visions down, the goat ate it, and he never rewrote it. So there's parts of the Quran missing. In Judaism, if you do not recognize that Abraham is the father of the faith and that Moses was the lawgiver, then you don't have a Judaism to follow. Also, the recognition in ancient Judaism that they were not saved or reconciled to Jehovah, Yahweh, by obeying the law, but rather by faith, then you don't have the antique version of Judaism. You have what sprung up after the Maccabee era, which really tried to impose the law on the people so that they would never fall into idolatry. And it became the Pharisaical and Sadducee aspect of the law. And now you have Hasidic, which are descendants of the Pharisaical party that you read about in the Maccabees and also in the Gospels. So keep those things in mind. Also, the second part of Christianity that most everyone misses is what we call JBFA, which is justified by faith alone. Many people misunderstand Christianity. Oh, you have to live according to the Beatitudes. The Beatitudes were, in fact, Jesus expositing the Ten Commandments and then telling the people, if your righteousness doesn't exceed that of the Pharisees, you can't go into heaven. He was telling them following the law does neither save you nor keep you. And the teaching of the Christian faith is that we are justified by faith alone, not of works, lest any man should boast. And most, even in Christian circles, the Christian circles I grew up in, were, yes, saved by grace, but kept by works, kept by your obedience. Whereas true Christianity is saved by faith. Period. Any good works that come out of that are done out of gratitude, not obligation. And they do nothing to save you or keep you saved. And yes, Paul battled to that in Romans 5 when he put the interlocutor in who said, what? Shall we sin so grace may abound? Because the focus of the Christian faith is salvation by grace alone, through faith alone. So keep those in mind as you answer the questions that are coming up this week. You do have 2 major papers that are due in week 7. I have attached to your email 2 more links to the video instructions on that. Please print out or at least have on your screen as you're listening to the video or watching it, double screen your screen, and make sure that you are following along the instructions for the core assessment paper as well as the interdisciplinary paper. There are 2 separate videos for that. Also, there is a 3rd video for this semester because we have Thanksgiving next week and it is week 6. So that's a separate video specifically for the current semester. And please make sure that you watch that and make sure that you recognize that your work is still due this week. I know I have papers due on Friday for school, so I do understand that it's going to be a rough week. But that said, please enjoy your Thanksgiving. The other thing is that you will have a grading rubric sent to you attached to the interdisciplinary paper. Please review that. That will really help to guide you what I expect in the paper. Just trying to think if there's any more house cleaning and housekeeping things that we need to do. And no, that's it. So again, if you have questions on your papers, if you have any questions about assignments this week, please email me, text me, and if you text me, please tell me who you are and what class you are in. I'm teaching 2 different courses, and I have about 40 students. So I want to make sure I answer you properly and personally and don't confuse you for someone else. So I hope that you have a really good week. Again, I encourage discussion and debate this week. Just please remember the human. Just one more brief announcement. On your whip this week, the instructions say that you're supposed to choose a certain way. However, it said you had to do Zoroastrianism as well as either Judaism, Islam, or Christianity. Disregard that. You can choose any of the 4 religions and summarize them. You are not stuck with simply the outline that and the instructions that is in the course home. You can follow that or you can do it my way. Either way is going to be acceptable, and I just wanted to let you know there is a flash of those instructions coming up on the screen momentarily. So please make sure that you read the announcement carefully and have fun doing the whip this week. Have a great day. Bye.